Welcome to the Spearo Hangout, where we talk all things spearfishing, freediving and foraging. We're three guys from Devon in the UK who are excited to share some of the learnings from our spearfishing journey with you over the coming episodes. We bring in some special guests along the way to help spread some in-depth Spearo knowledge from some of the most experienced people in the scene.
Hey lads, how we doing?
Hey buddy, you right?
Yeah, good man. First recording of 2023.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Is it?
It feels like ages since we actually recorded one.
Well, it's not entirely true. We did record with Shrek last week.
Yeah.
Although it was a bit different, hey?
No, yeah, it was a totally different experience going on someone else's podcast, but that was really cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really nice. I feel a bit nervous. I don't know about you guys, but like it was weird being on the other side, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I actually, surprisingly, I was really nervous at the beginning. I think I did like talk a load of crap at the beginning, but I did ease into it as it went on, to be fair. But I was super nervous. It felt like the first time we did a recording, actually. It was a bit weird.
So
brought back some memories.
It was good though.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Yeah, Shrek was awesome, man. It was a really cool podcast. Looking forward to that one coming up.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And what have you guys been up to this week? Or nothing?
Yeah, mate, just working, to be honest.
Yeah.
Trying to work on not punching everyone because I haven't been diving for like
yeah, I'm feeling it.
I can't remember how many months now.
Although it's cold out there. Really cold.
Yeah.
You been out on the boat, Ant?
No, it's still covered in pheasant guts and stuff.
Yeah. Are we going to get any of those?
Yeah, they're in the freezer,
Oh, sweet.
individually bagged. So I started the butchering at like 4:30 that afternoon. I finished at 2 a.m.
Wow.
So yeah, it was long.
To be fair, it did look like a huge bucket full of like carcasses and stuff. So it looked like quite a few there.
That photo that I sent you guys was only half of them, and I had to stop at like 2 a.m. because I'd already filled the cartons, and then had to wash them. And you know those plastic gardening buckets that you can get, those big sort of flimsy bucket, big plastic things. Anyway, I was doing the vacuum packing in the house. Rachel's going absolutely doolally because she's pretty much puking over the sofa. She can't stand the smell of it. And anyway, filled up one of those plastic buckets and had to go and empty it into the freezer before I could continue. Like, that's how much pheasant there was. I mean, Rachel struggled to lift the bucket.
Wow.
So,
Let's just be clear, it's not all for you. It's actually going to be distributed towards everyone. Just it.
I don't remember anybody saying that. No, they're all frozen. I mean, I went in probably 2 days after, and even the ones in the middle still hadn't fully frozen. It was like, Christ, the poor freezer. But yeah, no, there is loads there whenever you guys are swinging by, and
Awesome.
we can share them out.
That's brilliant.
Loads of legs and breasts.
Looking forward to it.
Not the order that I like them, but but no, otherwise work. We had the BSA first meeting this year.
Yeah. And the ESC meeting as well. So it's quite a busy weekend.
Yeah,
this week.
and the X Club, which was a really, really good event.
Yeah.
Really nice to meet everybody and put some more faces to names. But no, it was really, really good. And the chili, well, I've been visiting the toilet ever since.
That was great. It was really, really well organized, wasn't it? And it was it's one of the great things about being part of a club is that social side of things.
I'm just glad that Rich is part of Dorset now, because we didn't have to meet him.
Well, actually, this year I was thinking about joining Dorset and your X Club, purely because then I could be on the WhatsApp group and just give you guys like constant hassle.
Yeah, no, I've spoken to Max and we've said no, thank you.
Keep it. Yeah, so this week we got Nick Hansen from Monk Spearfishing coming on. So he's a new spearfishing brand that's starting up in the UK.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Not officially launched yet, I believe, but we'll find out the info from him in a bit. But yeah, it looks like it's a really cool kit. Be checking it out. Be good to get him on and just have a chat and see what's going on. Like Shrek was saying the other week, it's really cool to see all these like micro innovators coming up and designing stuff like really niche markets.
Mm.
Yeah,
No,
green.
really cool.
I checked out his Instagram earlier. Those guns look sweet. And
Yeah,
he's
they
quite
look really good.
he's doing actually quite a lot of the like individual things. I was reading that he created his own CNC machine or something like that to in order to machine. So the guns aren't just like a lot of people.
What? Guess what this podcast is going to be. It's going to be engineering chat with Nick and Anthony. What's
It's cool, isn't
spearfishing?
it? So most people just they get a piece of wood and they strap some things to it. Whereas it sounds like Nick's actually building all the individual components, including like the trigger mechanism, which
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Fascinating. Well, if he's got anything like a CNC, then he's my new friend. Because there's one CNC that I want, which is a 5-axis, and it's like 280 grand. I don't know how to tell Rachel yet.
Or the tax man.
Yeah. No, that's fine. It's writing off profits. But no, it's going to be interesting. Let's get him on.
How you doing, Nick? You all right?
Yeah, all good. How's it going, you guys?
Yeah, we're good, man. Yeah, we're all good.
Really
It's
good.
the first episode of 2023, so we're sort of like we had a little bit of time off, so we're trying to get back into the swing of things.
Yeah,
So-
perfect.
Could you start off, because we haven't spoken. I think I messaged you once when you first
Yeah, I wasn't
messaged.
sure which.
He's
I wasn't sure which one of you guys I would actually.
Yeah.
speak
That's
to.
the perks of our social media, because we're all three of us on it. I keep every now and then thinking maybe I should send him a message pretending to be Richard and ask him for some nudes or something
I
like
keep thinking about the same thing, so
that. I'll just do it next time.
not
it's fine.
asking news from Nick, but like getting you
Yeah,
in trouble, basically.
bullshit. Yes, you are.
One of you guys signed off as Richard, so I presumed it was Richard.
Yeah, I do that
speaking,
now
but-
because Anthony's on there. So
Nice.
I'll
I'm
put
going to
my
have to
little
start
signature.
signing off as Richard now. I don't know what Rachel's going to say though.
that one of your
I
wives?
think Ben was like the only one that kind of got that, but never mind. So Nick, tell us about you, who you are, where you're from, and yeah, what you're about.
Yeah, so my name's Nick Hansen, and yeah, I'm a product designer by profession. Sort of grew up designing and making all sorts of bits and bobs in my workshop at home. Bit of a falling down old garage, but kind of did the job and got me started. And yeah, my granddad was an engineer, and he built all sorts of crazy sort of big hydraulic machinery, and it kind of got me inspired in metal fabrication and a lot of machining and stuff when I was younger. So that kind of started me off, and then I always just loved anything with a bit of adrenaline involved. I had a couple of uncles who are similar. That's probably where I got it from, and they introduced me to spearfishing when I was quite young. I was about 9 or 10 years old,
Nice.
and yeah, just pissing about with a tiny little 35 centimeter little one, shooting some flatfish. It was actually in south of France. My grandparents moved down there way before I was born, so we used to spend the summers down there plinking away at these little flatties, and if we were lucky, maybe a mullet when we got a bit bigger, got some slightly longer guns. And I did that on and off until I was probably about, I don't know, 18 or 19. And then I kind of started taking it a bit more seriously. Did a freediving course in Thailand, in Koh Tao, I think it was. Yeah, and that's when I've really started wanting to do spearfishing a bit more seriously. And I didn't really at the time even realize you could do it in the UK. So that's sort of when I started looking into it a bit more. And yeah, getting involved in spearfishing in the UK, really, in the UK waters.
Nice.
You hear that a lot, don't you, about people not realizing that spearfishing is a thing in the UK?
Yeah,
I don't understand that. I mean, I've heard it quite a few times, but I guess people just don't think we have, I don't know, like enough variety to be worthwhile.
I don't know what it is. Yeah, or clear enough water. Sometimes when, I guess, if you're not down by the coast on a nice clear day, depending on where you are, it can be a bit murky. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's weird. No one really understands in the UK.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
obviously not having warm water. I guess no one's, or not many people are always snorkeling, so you're not always aware, I don't think, as a general public member, that it can be quite so vibrant and lively under the water in the UK. That's for sure.
So
Yeah,
true, mate.
definitely.
I was just been looking through your Instagram, Nick, and some of the stuff you're making is incredible. It's not just limited to spearfishing equipment. There's all sorts of stuff in there.
Oh, cheers. Yeah,
Did you?
thanks.
Are you like self-taught, or I mean, did your granddad teach you everything? Like, how did you pick up these skills?
Yeah, so I just really loved it as a kid, and I was really quite good at art. Um, but yeah, I think to my teacher's dismay, I preferred DT design work. I sort of just did that instead. And it was a mixture of being taught by my granddad and kind of self-taught. And then at university, they did teach us a bit about sort of woodwork and that sort of thing. And then yeah, I worked in London as a product designer for a couple of years, and we did quite a bit of prototyping and whatnot.
Cool.
Plastics work, composite work, stuff like that, and then metal work, and obviously getting stuff outsourced as well. So I kind of got a bit of an all-rounded kind of I suppose skill set when it came to making things and designing things.
That's awesome. And you're not just designing products, are you? You're also designing the machines that make the products. I was reading.
Yeah. So that was I kind of realized quite early on when I decided I wanted to try and start a little company making spearfishing equipment and spear guns that I needed a CNC machine. So I built a big kind of large format CNC milling machine. So it weighs about 1,300 kilos, and it's all made out of reclaimed RSJs. One of my friends
That's
was
so
working
cool.
on a friend was working on a barn demolition, and got a bunch of RSJs, and I was like, yeah, get as many as you can. I need about 25 meters of it, 30 meters. Got all these RSJs, and I just spent the whole month of August, about 4 days a week. I was basically just machining these RSJs flat on a big milling machine that was my granddad's, and basically turning them into a big CNC machine. Just because they're so expensive to buy new, I thought I might as well try and build one. And yeah, it's an absolute ripper. Without it, I'll be pretty stuck. So yeah, it's kind of my workforce and my yeah, machine capabilities all in one, which is quite good. So, yeah.
That's epic. Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, this is where I butt in and say, Nick, are you single?
Sadly,
I knew
Nick,
that was coming. I could see his face.
Just tell him to piss off, Nick. Don't worry about it.
Right. So this spearfishing lark is a load of bullshit. CNC is where it's at. I don't know whether you watch much YouTube, but if I say the term Uncle Bumblefuck,
What?
do you know about AVE?
I do, yes. AVE is he's a top YouTuber, to be fair.
Absolute Canadian legend.
Canadian legend.
But no, I mean I'm the used car trade, but I'm a petrol head through and through. And so one of my dream upbringings would have been that I was born into a machinist's workshop. Whenever I go over there, I'm just like, just give me the information. And he's got a massive old Bridgeport, and yeah,
Lovely.
just
What was that name again? Apple Bumblebee. What?
Uncle Bumblefuck.
That is your new nickname, Uncle Bumblefuck.
No. That's no, absolutely not. I
am so calling you that from now on.
No, that is like no. He's earned that name for a long old time, and he's an amazing YouTuber. And basically, he does reviews on tools, and he does loads of CNC stuff. I think he's got a 4-axis CNC.
Think he has, yeah.
I don't know what he does, but the knowledge that guy has is just mind-blowing. I think he's been in the depths of the Middle East that he calls Middle Earth, and just like he's just I could watch him for days and days and days. But no, your knowledge, we're going to be friends.
I know this is a spearfishing podcast, but I'm actually quite interested.
No, it's not.
What is a 4-axis or a 5-axis CNC machine? Can anybody explain that in an easy kind of?
I really want to, but Nick, come on.
Yeah, well, so each axis is like a kind of different plane of motion, I guess. So on a 3-axis, you've got X, Y, and Z, which is like forwards and backwards, side to side and up and down. And usually a 4th axis typically is a rotary one.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah,
basically just add different axes to do different, like I suppose, motions, kind of specific to your job. So I might actually put a 4th axis on my machine to do like rotary carving of some of the timber components, but I've designed it so I can just use the 3-axis to carve out basically all of the timber blanks and do all my mold making, and also cut out all my plastic and kind of composite components as well.
Oh wow! So it literally cuts whatever material you want.
Oh yeah, yeah. All my aluminium molds, they're all being machined on that.
Wow.
So yeah, I can basically just do everything that I need to do.
It starts getting fun when you start trying to CNC titanium, though.
Yeah, I've been tempted to buy some. If it wasn't so expensive, I probably would have tried. But yeah, stainless. That's been interesting trying to get to grips with machining stainless. So
how do you do that? Is it like diamond bits of some kind, or
carbide? Yeah, lots of
Carbide,
coolant, lots and yeah, lots of carbide, which is expensive, but yeah, it's kind of the only way you can do it with something as hard as stainless, really. I'm sure there's people who have much better machinists than me who'd be able to do it with all sorts of other things, but yeah, I'm basically using quite a high speed motor, which basically means I need to run things yeah, carefully, and yeah, so lots of carbide tooling, lots of coolant for me.
And why is it that you built your own one? Is it due to the expense of them, or like the cost of them, or?
Basically, yeah. If I wanted to buy one that was kind of capable of the level of machining, heavy machining that I wanted it to be able to do, it would just cost me probably like 70, 80 grand upwards. So
really,
machine cost me about 2,300 to build. But I mean, it did take me the whole month of August to do, but yeah, it was worth it. It was definitely worth it.
Yeah, that's epic, man.
So, what are your thoughts on Titan CNC then?
I mean, they're quite Americanized, which is entertaining, to be fair. I do quite enjoy it. But and the machining they do is unbelievable. I
Did you see that American flag they did? Did you see that American flag they did?
I did, the one which they had done all the surface grinding on. Yeah, that was
no polish. They were just doing it with a grinding wheel. That was like
that was unbelievable.
That was pretty cool.
Right,
I was just
so
no,
before
we're staying on this.
Spearfishing.
This is no longer the Spiro hangout. This is a CNC hangout. You lot can just shut up and listen.
Before we lose,
yeah. I've just got a couple more questions. No, I've got
ask him after.
3 more hours, and then you can have your spearfishing back.
Well, have a look. Have you had a look at these spear guns, Anthony? Because they are a thing of beauty, I have to say.
I have. So for me, my dad's a carpenter.
Yeah.
So he's been a woodworker his entire life, and he said you can always tell the value of a carpenter or the the skill of a carpenter by how they hang a door. But what is it? MDF ply. Just you could hit me in the face with a teak and I'd call it a maple. I've no idea. But looking at your Instagram and some of your TIG welding, I mean, props to some of your TIG welding.
Thank you very much.
That's an art form. Sorry, I'm now. Yeah, we're in techie talk, but no, I'm very much, especially now I've heard that you got a CNC. I'll be coming up once a week to come and see the store and come and give you a hand. Have you started working with carbon fiber yet, or?
Yeah, I actually started making carbon fiber prototypes about a year and a half ago, and that was one of the reasons I needed the machine. Was to actually CNC machine was to basically machine all these molds. I was trying to make them all up by hand, but I just needed consistency, and I need to be able to speed up the mold making process. So I was really limited by not having a CNC machine. So yeah, back to the CNC machine. That was the reason I.
And so, sorry, last question. With your molds, are you using? Are you going foam or are you going Delrin? Like, what are you making the molds out of?
So at the moment, or for the guns I'm making at the moment, there's 2 carbon fiber parts on them, and I'm using aluminium molds, so solid billet aluminium molds.
Yeah, nice.
And yeah, but probably when I go to actually tooling up for bigger molds, I'll probably use some sort of foam to start with for prototyping, and then probably make them out of aluminium billet after that, which would be pricey. But
yeah, right. And are you thinking of doing a full barrel then in wood or carbon fiber?
So the guns that I'm making at the moment, they all break down into 2. I don't know if I would basically explain that to you guys, but they're all combination guns. So you can they break apart in half. There's a standard rear section with a handle and trigger mech and everything. And then you can interchange the fore end. So you can basically put on like a small section or a longer one with multiple bands, or rollers or whatever it might be. So you can basically interchange that fore-end section to kind of like fit whatever kind of I suppose scenario you're in, what the conditions are like, what sort of species you're going after. So kind of the main premise behind it was, in the UK, sometimes I even take 2 guns on my float. It takes a minute to interchange the fore end, so I could just take a fore end out and another full built gun and just interchange them depending on what I'm going after throughout the day. Or when I'm traveling abroad, it means I don't need to take 2 full length guns. I can just take basically 1.5 in 3 little half length sections, and just sort of change them up throughout the holiday or whatever it might be throughout the trip. Because I found traveling with guns just such a pain in the arse. So I was like, right, I've got to see if I can try and figure this out. And yeah, saves on weight when you're flying anywhere. So that's another big cost saver. So you don't have to potentially check in 2 bags if you're bringing multiple guns. And I was like I know there have been a few like travel guns, but I thought something that's properly like modular would be quite a good way to go about it.
Great idea. So, will it fit in a suitcase even? Like,
oh yeah, it breaks down to 75 centimeters long, like in total.
That's magic. You won't need your golf cart anymore, Anthony.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well,
so can I just jump in quickly, because our listeners are going to be so bloody confused right now, because we've just gone off on a massive tangent here. Right. First of all,
It's
Nick,
unusual.
Can you explain the backstory behind everything we just talked about? What is monk spearfishing? And obviously you started to explain the guns and that, but can we just start from there?
Can I before you do that, the CNC? No, magic.
Go for it.
So I guess monk kind of started, or the premise behind me making spear guns was definitely a kind of a hobby at uni. And I've been doing a lot of woodwork, and I kind of have done that all my life as well, just for fun, really. I went to the uni workshops and machined up a trigger mech. It was actually pretty bad. It didn't have any sort of springs or anything like that, so it wouldn't reset after you'd fired it. You had to manually like sort of relocate the trigger and the sear with the spear in place and everything like that. But sorry, I'm digressing again. And then I carved up a timber spear gun and used that for that season, and it was pretty good. And a lot of people were giving me compliments and saying, yeah, if you ever made these, we definitely want to buy one. Then sort of a couple of years on, I've made a few more, and I was refining them a bit and figuring out how I like the guns to be, how I like them to function, what I wanted them to look like. And in the back of my mind, I started to think it would be great if I could maybe start a little company making spear guns, because I think there was a bit of a void of a kind of more traditional manufacturer of spear guns, shall we say, in the UK. There's quite a few people who handmade lovely guns, but I sort of thought it'd be great if someone could potentially make,
because that's where you set yourself apart from, like, let's say, the odd person that makes wooden spear guns as a hobby, or I don't know, side hustle, for example. You set yourself apart because you are, as you say, manufacturing them on a professional basis.
Yeah, basically. So I'm making 100% all of them, all of the components. So not only sort of making the actual stocks themselves, but the trigger mechs, the reels, all the plastic moldings, everything like that, and really trying to do the whole thing if I can. And all made in the UK as well, which is something else I was quite keen on trying to get nailed.
What's the driver for wanting to do everything? Because I've listened to Noob Spearo, and they've had quite a few people that make spear guns on them, but usually they'll be, pieced together from different bits from different manufacturers. What's the driver to do it all yourself?
Well, I'll probably piss people off if I say I think that's kind of cheating, but I kind of think that's cheating. I was just like, it'd be great if I could just control every part of a spear gun in its makeup, if you like. And there was sort of things that I thought I could improve on, and I think I can improve on within each of those components that goes into building a spear gun. So I was like, why not start from the bottom and sort of re-engineer it a bit to how I want it, and then hopefully it'll become a sort of decent product that other people will see a use in. That was kind of how it started. Basically a hobby that then turned into me thinking, these could be good enough guns to potentially sell.
And presumably that you do like a whole different range of guns, right? So like what we're just talking about. So you've got
Yeah.
like guns that will break down, and then you've got like aluminium, and you're doing like all different types of different materials.
So it's just going to be timber to start with.
Just timber, right?
Yeah, just because I think I always get tempted to bite off way too much more than I can chew. So I was like, right, let's just stick with one medium. And I was like, now that I've built CNC machine, I can carve these out consistently and repeatably with a machine, or the majority of them, majority of the carving with a machine. And that would allow me to basically start making some product fairly quickly. And I have got plans to do pipe guns and also fully carbon fiber guns. But yeah, carbon fiber is a tricky beast, so I thought I'll wait a little bit until I've got a bit more time and whatnot on my hands. So just going to be timber guns to start with, and they'll be in. I think I'm going to launch with 3 lens, probably like an 85, maybe a 100, and then maybe quite a bit longer one, like a 125 or 130. Something on those lines, but that's kind of yet to be fully decided. But should be launching with 3 different bore end lengths, if you like, and then you can basically buy them in combinations. So that's
Awesome.
that's sort of how it's going to progress, hopefully.
And is it just guns? Like what else are you going to start making and selling?
Yeah, so it'll be reels as well that you can buy.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to try and do. It might just be one capacity reel to start with, so probably a 50 meter, and then also trigger mechs. The spears I'm not going to sell separately to start with because I've had a few supply chain issues getting the correct grade of steel, which is a horrible thing to try and source. But it's a really particular stainless that's heat treatable and all sorts of stuff like that. So it's been quite tricky to get hold of the right stuff. And yeah, so I don't have enough of it to really sell those as a sole standalone item just yet. But fingers crossed in the near future. That's probably the way it's going to go. Yeah.
Nice. Epic, man. Because none of us have any wooden guns, do we, lads?
No, I had to go with Lawrence's. Or at least I picked it up. It's like
his
so big
elephant
and
gun.
heavy.
Yeah.
But I love the way they look. I've got no idea how they perform. But even Lawrence's, like you can tell it's going to shoot straight and it's going to shoot. And Lawrence had put one of those people that did it himself. He put it together with a block of wood and drilled the components together. I guess I've got a lot of admiration for people that do that. I think you've taken it to the next level, Nick, with what you're doing.
Yeah.
So have you bought a laser cutter yet?
I haven't got a laser cutter. I would like one though. Yeah.
I was going to say that'll make making the reels a lot easier.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right. Definitely right. So that's something I would like to get, but again, I think that was just the next level of complexity for me to try and make. So I just thought CNC machine, slightly more simple. And I'm actually going to be making all the reels and stuff on that machine anyway. I'm using some fairly thick nylon for most of it, and some high density polyethylene, or ultra high density polyethylene for a lot of the plastic components. So yeah, I can actually just route them out with a single flute cutter on my CNC machine, and yeah, it takes no time at all, minute or so maximum to make each reel, for example.
Do you just sorry, a bit of an amateur when it comes to this.
Sorry, yeah.
Do you just like plug it into the computer and you've got the design on the computer and you press play, or are you like moving bits around manually?
Yeah, it's not a million miles away. Yeah, so it's basically you have like a CAD software which you design stuff in 3 dimensions. Virtually
computer aided design.
Exactly, that's the one.
I did DT for A-level. I'm all right with this stuff. I was just interested because what I was gonna there was a question.
That was more for Richard, not you.
Oh, right, okay. I'll lay it off. So how do you design it all in 3D on the computer? How do you know how it's going to perform? Like, how do you just iterate on the design? So you do a design, you make it, test it, come back, make some tweaks, and come back again.
Yeah, that's basically it. Usually, it all starts with a handmade prototype. So
right,
the ones in those photos, they're actually handmade. I haven't taken any pictures of the machined ones yet, but yeah, always starts with a handmade gun, or whatever component might be. So the trigger mechs, they're all sort of hand machined, fabricated up to start with, tested to destruction, which is quite painful to do when you've spent hours and tens of hours making something. And then you have
How
to
do you
break
do
it.
that? What's the process?
So yeah, I mean, like with the guns, it's kind of just, firstly, I kind of just use them in the sea, for example, and see if they work.
And the next process is wrapping it around your buddy's head.
Yeah, quite literally. Yeah, it's sort of like tying big weights to the middle of it, seeing how much it flexes, bends, stuff like that. Getting basically like a quite sort of high capacity winch and a load cell, and which I borrowed from someone, and basically just cranking up to like a kind of like decent level over how much certain amount of bands would sort of, exert on the trigger mech and things like that. But it's quite a good fun process. But it is scary when you spend. Oh, it's just it is painful when you spend a long time making something and you just have to basically break it.
I'm wincing and I didn't even make it.
I also have a big half South African friend who's about 105 kilos. He breaks everything I own that I give to him to lend to him or anything like that. He breaks it, and so he's my product tester basically.
Yeah, us South Africans are quite heavy-handed, to be fair.
Hang on, I love the fact that you two are saying big at 105 kilos. I'm 120.
Oh shit! Well, he's full muscle, this dude, and he's he's just a bit of a unit. He's
lightweight.
He doesn't look like a Teletubby like you, basically.
Sneaky fucking prawns.
So, Nick, like, are you doing this around a full-time job? What is it? Is you hoping this to become a full-time thing that you're doing, or?
Yeah, I'm basically doing it around. I had a full-time job, and then now I'm just like a freelance designer. So I spend a couple of days a week, and my evenings and quite a lot of my weekends as well, doing freelance design work to kind of pay for it all like product design and industrial design sort of stuff. Lots of CAD work, and then I'm hoping at some point this can become my main source of income. But yeah, at the moment it's still in.
And is it going to be like selling internationally? What's the plan for the guns and everything you make?
I think so. Yeah. So I'll be selling them all from my website, and I'm hoping that they'll sell internationally. Because obviously the spear gun, spearfishing equipment market is quite a lot bigger globally than it is in just the UK. But I think it'll be a combination of the two, is what I'm thinking. But yeah, and our plan is to reach out to some shops and some resellers to see if anybody wants to sort of basically, if I could basically sell them through them. Which I haven't gotten around to doing yet, but that's on the list of things to do. But yeah, mainly online and fingers crossed internationally. Yeah.
Well, if you need some third party testers, you know where to come.
Definitely. Yeah, I probably will actually. Yeah.
And also when you need some free labor, I'll take payment in billet pistons and H-beam rods.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
So yeah, I just need two JZ parts.
Yeah. Just pay him in Freddo's, mate. He's good.
They're about as chocolate as the pistons. Oh, you said Lexus. It's Toyota.
Dear, I said, have you got a Supra or a Lexus? I wasn't sure because they both have two JZs. Sorry.
Yeah. No, so I've got a Toyota Aristo, which is I'm going to get shot down for saying this. Not by any of the spearfishers, because probably nobody knows what it is, but a 4-door Supra, which is the Toyota Aristo.
Right.
Yeah, it came with a 3-litre straight 6 twin turbo that I've changed to a single turbo. It's running just shy of 900 horse.
Right.
Yeah, big single turbo and fully forged everything. But God, what I wouldn't give for a CNC, because billet 2J.
What the hell would you do with a CNC? You're a used car salesman, mate.
No, I'd quit. I keep umming and ahhing about selling absolutely everything.
Oh, you are serious?
No, I'm being deadly serious.
Oh, right.
And spending 280 grand on just my 5-axis CNC, and then just like building everything. So just again, I'm back on CNCs, but every single thing.
Thank God we've got 2 minutes left.
I know. We're going to finish this on the 2 minutes. So every single thing that you have in your house that is plastic, metal, or anything had to go through a form that was created by either a 4 or 5-axis CNC, and they're just phenomenal. The thing you can make anything out of anything. It's just amazing.
No, so I was just saying to lad, I don't know if they've just seen the file that I sent them with the design work that someone's doing for us. It's really cool.
Oh, I like that, mate.
Nice.
Yeah, we got
Really
some
cool.
new stickers.
Can you see it, Nick?
We got some new stickers and some.
Have a little look. Oh, that looks bloody cool. One
Oh,
sec.
yeah,
I'm just
on
gonna in this. Yeah,
yeah.
Can I please have
Cool.
that
that looks
on
great.
a 12 by 12 plaque, CNC and alley? Bill it
Yeah, I
out.
could do that. I could do that.
Honestly, in
Nick,
fact,
son
actually,
of
no.
piss off, mate. Just don't listen to him. Just tell
Cost
him
you,
to do one.
yeah, right.
I'll pay
What,
for
what
it.
do I get in return?
I'll pay
You don't
for it.
ask Anthony that. I've been down that line before.
Yeah, we got some really cool stuff coming out. We're working on some like t-shirts and mugs and stickers and stuff because we've been asked for
Sweet.
quite a lot of it. So yeah, we got someone doing some design work for us, and yeah, stuff's looking really cool. Still some tweaks to be made, but it's really cool stuff. But yeah. So
I didn't see it.
getting back into it, Nick. So like, obviously we talked about monk spearfishing. What about yourself? Like, let's get into a bit about spearfishing and what what you've done, where you spearfished. Because I've seen the picture you sent me there. Where was that shot?
Yeah, that was down in Brighton Pit. No, that was not Brighton. That was Madeira recently, actually.
Madeira, yeah, nice.
Went out in October with a couple of friends, and one of them's a kind of professional photographer and cinematographer. And yeah, I'm sort of basically giving him a gun in exchange for a bit of footage and basically a day of photography. So it was sort of an opportunity to take some content and then also have a great spearfishing holiday. And yeah, I can recommend Madeira highly. Really, really great place. Great people as well, the Portuguese. Really, really lovely.
And is that Luke that made the video? It's the first
It
time
is,
I heard
yeah.
of you. Amazing video. Absolutely love
Great,
it.
but yeah. Well, he was doing a few kind of like profiles on like young people who are
Yeah.
kind of like starting companies and making basically doing something industrial. He's got one on a guy who makes his own skis and thought I would fit the bill. And yeah, so he did that sort of basically for him for his own sort of I guess career. But yeah, he then took a bunch of photos for me to use for my brand. And that's where that one of that grouper that I shot there on my Instagram's from. And yeah, that was yeah, I mean the fish species in Madeira were pretty wild, and I hadn't really had a chance at shooting really any of them before I went there.
Was that the first time that you've been abroad spearfishing?
No, I'm actually half Danish, so my dad's from Denmark, and I go over there spearfishing a lot. It's mainly flatfish and cod, and had a sea trout before, which was quite cool out there. And yeah, so I speared in this last year in Denmark quite a few times, and then the Med. I have a friend from uni, he's from Barcelona, so I go out kind of on the Costa Brava quite a bit. And yeah, that's great diving in the Med. It is hard. It's as hard as everyone says, but you progress pretty quickly. And yeah, absolutely love it. And the food's great everywhere when you go to the Med as well.
That's epic, man. And Denmark, is that like we've not talked much about Denmark? Is that very similar to Norway in terms of spearfishing, or?
Well, it's I think their highest hill in Denmark's about 130 meters or something. So it's a really different landscape, but it's not a million miles away. I think you can get a ferry over to Norway from the most northern point of Denmark in like 3 hours or something. So they do have some quite similar species. So cod, flatfish, things like that. And yeah, often the water, because there's just so many islands there, it can be fairly shallow and really sheltered. So yeah, there's great flatfish fishing around Denmark. Really, really great. Yeah, all sorts of things, turbot, flounder, that sort of stuff, just everywhere.
Easily accessible from the shore, or do you need to
really
jump on a
easy
boat,
accessible?
or?
Yeah. For some of the sort of cod spots, it can be good to have a boat and go offshore and hit some wrecks and things like that. I've only done that once, but yeah, mainly I'll just go from the shore, which has been really, really quite fruitful, particularly for flatfish. But yeah, great location. The people are lovely. The country's lovely. Definitely highly recommend it. That's for sure.
Awesome, man.
A lot cheaper than Norway too.
I was just going to say that. Is it a lot cheaper?
Yeah, sort of more like England prices, I'd say, over there.
Right. Okay.
It's not
Yeah.
too
Yeah.
dissimilar. It's kind of the cheaper out of the Scandi countries, I would say.
And I'm guessing you get like quite large cod, the same as Norway, then, or
Yeah, you can do. I haven't. I've only shot one, and it wasn't very big. I think it was
right.
about 2.5, 3 kilos or something. But yeah, that you can get some absolute monsters by all accounts. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
on my list. That's on my hit list for sure.
That's epic, man. Yeah, oh, nice. So,
Awesome.
yeah, like any memorable spearfishing trips that you've done? Like, what's the most memorable one that you've done?
Probably was this one to Madeira actually.
Yeah.
I think just because of the variety of like species over there. I mean, that grouper in that photo on my Instagram was it's called an island grouper. It's kind of endemic to like the Azores and the Canaries and maybe Cape Verde as well and Madeira. And yeah, they don't get as big as like dusky gropers that you might find elsewhere in the Med and
Yeah.
whatnot. You're not allowed to shoot them in Madeira, the duskies, but yeah, that one's called an island grouper. I think it was the best tasting fish I've ever had. I mean, found it in a cave in about it was in about, I don't know, 13, 14 meters. So it wasn't actually very thickly deep. Shot it and luckily managed to get that all on footage as well. So that was quite cool. I was like, I found a grouper, come over, get the camera, let's try and like film the extraction and everything. So that worked out quite well. Got it up, cooked it on the barbecue, literally just filleted like one side of it, stuck it on the coals. And it kind of bunched up a bit like when you cook like a monkfish tail or something, like literally bunched up, and it was like that kind of slightly rubbery but unbelievably tasty lobstery kind of meat. Really, really great. And yeah, got a couple of amberjack, not big, only a couple of kilos. Some little jack species, barracuda, loads of triggerfish everywhere. They're a pest over there. They come up and try and like steal what you've got and try and bite you as well. They're really nasty. But
Wow.
yeah, it was great, really great. Definitely recommend, and it's cheap as chips when you're there, which is another perk.
Yeah, we were just talking before you came on the episode. We're talking about old. Can't remember your nickname now. Oh, bloody hell, I've forgotten already. But we're talking about with Anthony about him traveling with spear guns and stuff. And what do you recommend when traveling with spear guns? How do you take them abroad?
Yeah, so far I've been using one of those ski tubes, to be fair.
Yeah.
I didn't opt for the biggest one. I opted for like the medium size. I just pack as much stuff in as I can.
Yeah.
That's usually what I do, and then sometimes I end up taking an extra like check-in bag as well. But it is a pain. It's not easy. And if there's 3 or 4 of you going, trying to fit that all into like an affordable rental car, that's another problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just ramps up in cost.
Anthony's got a solution for you. What is it, Anthony?
Golf bag.
Golf bag.
Yeah.
Not bad shout, yeah.
My sugar daddy is I was trawling through Facebook after thinking, right, I booked Tenerife in May and trawling for like a hard shell travel case, maybe something like a ski case. And anyway, after about an hour, I get a message from Davo saying, why don't you message me? I've got a golf bag that I take everywhere and I never get any issues at all. And obviously with golf bags, they're sort of a solid, I don't know whether they're a nylon bottom or some kind of solid plastic, but he said that he never has any problems with the guns. If you really are concerned, you could sort of get a bit of 2x4 and cable tie it to the wood so that it's got a little bit more support during transit. But yeah, he dropped off a golf bag and he said he never gets stopped because obviously golf clubs are metal, and when it goes through the metal detector, they just see a metal spear that they think is a golf racket. And yeah, no, it's it'll be a good idea, but it's huge.
Not bad idea. Yeah, I like that. I haven't tried it as I'm not a golfer, but my dad is, so maybe I could nick his. I don't know what he'd say if I did that, but yeah, they're pretty tough. They're pretty tough bags, actually. To be fair, they often have wheels on as well, don't they?
Yeah. No, so well, I'll find out in May and I'll let you know. But
I was just going to say, I don't think Nick's going to let you test one of those spear guns now, mate. Not carrying it in a golf bag.
I'm just looking at your Instagram, and is that a fully bronze heel on that Damascus knife?
It is, yeah.
Oh my God, honestly. I think I'm more excited right now than I was with Shrek. I love you, Shrek, but oh my god, what was the Damascus made from? Sorry, sidetrack.
That was
Viewers,
actually a billet
listeners.
a friend made, and I can't quite remember what the two steels were. So I didn't forge that. I basically just shaped the blade and made the handle and all the fittings, the brass fittings and the wood scales and whatnot. So I can't actually quite remember what it was. I think it was that 15N20 or whatever it was as one of the
Yeah.
metals in the Damascus, but I can't remember the other one. But yeah, good knife. Really,
That
really,
is a
really tough. Great
beautiful
fun to
piece
make.
of kit.
That's something else I will be making at some point soon. Annoyingly, I actually dropped my kind of finalized prototype in Madeira in about 40 meters off the side of a boat.
Oh, no
It was a
way.
dive, yeah, it was a dive knife that I've been working on for ages. I've done all these complicated moldings for the handles and the kind of sheath and whatnot, and I just fucking dropped it.
Oh.
Pain. But yeah, that's going to be coming too. That'll probably one of the next things I try and launch will be dive knives, I think.
I'll
There always
definitely be
seems
one of
to
your
be
customers on them.
something. Yeah, there always seems to be something niggly about dive knives, doesn't there? Like, I don't know about you guys, but
The thing is, they're so that they're stamp made from
yeah.
absolute trash metal. What I like to call in the trade
Definitely.
Chinesium. And they're just they snap. I mean, I think there was I can't remember who it was. Oh no, it was Wet Mammal. I was watching his video the other day because he's out in Fiji or somewhere like
Fiji,
that with
yeah, Fiji.
Mon, and he'd had an Oma knife for like 3 weeks, and it's already snapped at the heel. And it's
Yeah.
like, what? Like
Yeah.
they just make them out of cheese.
Yeah, I mean, I bought a knife not that long ago because I dropped that one and I needed a spare. I won't say the brand, but it had 304 stamped on it, which isn't even a marine grade. It's not repeatable. I was like, I literally I stuck it in a fish, gave it a bit of a bend, it came out with a slight curve to it.
Yeah.
Tried to open a bottle of beer like that night, and it literally just bent. I had to bend it back, and I was like, I could do
I
this with my
like.
fingers.
With the 304, could you not have heat treated it though? Could you not, now that you've bent it straight, could you not heat treat it and oil dip it?
It's not a heat treatable grade of stainless.
Of course, it's 304.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a
That
few
that's
types.
my kind of product testing. Opening a
Yeah,
bottle of beer, and if it holds up, it's good to go.
well, if that's your kind of product testing, well, I'll send you some gear. You guys can crash it. And, yeah, give some feedback.
Yeah, I mean, the one I was going about dive knives, when I say about dive knives, it just always seems to be something niggly, like whether it's the sheath or the way it attaches or like the
Yeah,
knife itself. I don't know. It's always something about it that never really sits that well with me. And I've tried loads. I mean, I've lost so many. I think I've been through like most brands by now. But yeah, that'd
yeah,
be cool to see what you come out with.
yeah,
Looking forward
yeah.
to that.
Well, I won't tell
Yeah.
too much, but it doesn't come out.
Yeah, it's all good.
I haven't dropped it, and I've been using it for about 6 or 7 months. So that's good with me. Usually I drop them pretty much straight away within a month or
Yeah.
so. So yeah,
Well, I'll buy the block of billet for our test product of a titanium knife.
right, okay, yeah. Well, yeah, yeah. To be fair, titanium is one of the materials I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll have to wait and see.
I want to test that one. So, sorry, I will get back to spearfishing, however boring compared to CNC World. Funny stories. So, have you got anything funny, wild from your spearfishing sort of life?
Yeah, well, okay, there's two. One of them, well, I don't know how appropriate it is, but
Mate, we love it. Just go for
okay,
it.
it was one of
Yeah.
the first guns I made. I was actually down in Lulworth Cove, and um, I was like, right, I've never dove this sort of area before, so might as well give it a try. And I came back in. There was a guy who had a spear gun as well. I think he caught a brown crab or something. And he was talking to me about the gun. He was like, "Oh yeah, I really like it. Why not?" And he basically was sort of, as we were chatting, I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm quite artistic, blah blah blah." And he thought I said autistic, and he just looked at me and sort of took a bit of a step back, and yeah, the conversation kind of trailed off pretty quickly after that. He didn't look very trusting. But yeah, so that was one thing that was just a bit
Awkward.
a little bit bad. The other one was I've gotten written down in my notes for the show. It was porpoise poo poo, and what that means is I basically lent one of my friends a some 3 mil trousers, some 3 mil what you call wetsuit bottoms, and he saw a harbour porpoise. It was down in Cornwall somewhere, and it started swimming around him, and he was fairly green when it comes to spearfishing, and he did shit himself,
Oh
and
God.
yeah. So that took a bit of hosing out.
Oh,
We
no way.
didn't have a hose
dear.
either, so I think he might have taken in the shower. I don't really know what he did. I didn't ask too many questions, but I got a long soaking in a bucket full of Dettol and whatnot.
Say, can you get that out of the pores of the neoprene?
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, it's open cell as well. So yeah, it definitely wasn't the greatest situation. Yeah.
Oh, love it, man. Well, yeah, get on a bit more serious note then, Nick. So obviously we talked about like monk spearfishing and everything else behind it, but what's your thoughts on like spearfishing in the UK? You obviously think that it's a growing trend and it's on the up and coming. Otherwise, you wouldn't have started a brand, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the sort of size of some of the Facebook groups are growing. I've got more and more friends that I haven't seen for a while, for example, who are getting into it without me even knowing that they are, sort of thing, without even having chatted to me about anything to do with spearfishing. So I'm just sort of, yeah, with a bit of an ear to the ground. You're kind of everyone. Well, I'm getting aware of it growing, that's for sure. And yeah, I think globally as well, with social media being quite a big driver, I think, behind spearfishing's popularity. I'm sure that's not just abroad in places with really clear water and big fish. I think it does have an effect over here for sure. I mean, I'm watching all sorts of people on YouTube in the UK as opposed to and as well as abroad, and I'm thinking, yeah, this is inspiring me to get out. Not that I really need any more stoke. I'm pretty pumped on spearing, anyways. But yeah, I think it's definitely growing. And I think people are also trying to sort of grasp onto any sort of sense of proper kind of wilderness and adventure, which you kind of only get, I think, truly in the UK under the water, really, and around the coastline. I think, yeah, in Western Europe, where we've damaged our wild areas quite heavily. So I think being able to experience, I suppose, the coastal areas underwater, it really is true kind of like wilderness, and you are kind of always at in a bit of a dangerous situation as well. So there's that kind of element of excitement that I don't think is always that easily attainable elsewhere. So yeah, I think there are people looking for that, and spearfishing is quite a good solution, I think.
Why do you do it, Nick? Is it like that sense of connection, the fear factor, the fish, the food? What is it for you?
I think it's all of that. Yeah, I think if you're a person with any kind of level of empathy and you eat meat, it's good to sort of know where it comes from, and it's nice to sort of know, or at least sort of have that in the back of your head that you've kind of made an effort, and yeah, where you're sourcing your animal protein from is probably about as good as it gets. I would say, unless you're eating invasive species or whatever, like grey squirrels, which I've tried, and they're not that bad. But yeah, so yeah, I think that was sort of one of the reasons I like the challenge. I like the physical and mental kind of challenges behind spearfishing and also breath hold diving. And then also I think there's that other kind of sense of like we're the only animals that really use tools for hunting. And we have literally evolved to do that for the last however many hundreds of millions of years. So even more so when you built your own spear gun, you get this weird sort of feeling of like satisfaction when you plug a fish for something you made yourself. It is really fun. So I advise any of you guys to do it if you can. But yeah, I think it's that kind of, it's a real kind of thing, an innate thing that's within all of us human beings to want to basically sustain ourselves with some sort of food source, and usually that's by using some sort of tool to do the job.
It's an escapism as well, right? Because I mean, me and Ben were talking about this earlier, and yeah, I haven't been out for ages now, and it's getting to the point where I need to get out before I actually like snap at someone. So it is definitely about escapism and like just meditation. Really, I find people who struggle to meditate tend to actually, I want to say meditate, for better lack of term, but when you spearfishing, it's almost way of meditating, isn't it?
Yeah.
For me anyway, like just to switch off, forget about everything else, and to focus on something. And if that something's like your breath hold, then so be it, whatever. But it's definitely a form of escapism as well as everything else. I mean, we all like to be sustainable and hunt our own food and everything else, but there's a lot involved in it, I think, and
Yeah.
everyone's got their reasons, isn't there?
I mean, it's just so immersive. There's not really much else I can think of that I've done that is as immersive as spearfishing. But so
Yeah.
much going on, and it takes your full focus, which I guess is kind of what meditation does. It's using a similar kind of capacity of your brain, I suppose, in some weird ways. And yeah, it is it is does put you in a bit of a trance-like state, which I think is really really important, really really good for you as well, for sure.
But that's why Anthony doesn't do very well spearfishing, because he can't focus very well.
Sorry, Rob. Sorry, I wasn't listening.
Yeah, Nick. Well, we've really enjoyed you coming on, mate. Really looking forward to some of the stuff that you're going to come out with, and
Yeah.
actually, really, really would love to test one of your guns. No joke.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Let's see if we can
that'd be
arrange
cool,
something.
man.
I'd love to come and have you guys test some of my stuff at some point. That'd be
That'd
great.
be epic, Nick. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, where are you based? Where are you based, Nick? By the way.
Yes, I'm actually based up in Herefordshire, so a little bit far away
Oh,
from
okay.
the coast. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm actually using my granddad's workshop at the moment because it's free to me, I suppose. So yeah, a little bit further away from the coast than I would like, but yeah, basically Midlands.
Yeah.
West
Well,
Midlands.
let's see if we can arrange for you to come down, and next time we go out, we'll all go out together.
Yeah, sounds great. Super,
Awesome.
super
Yeah,
pumped for that.
Couple
Nice.
of listeners' questions.
Are they CNC questions, Anthony? Because we're going to have to cut it here.
No.
Are they your
First
questions,
question.
Anthony?
No, they're listeners' questions. I've been listening, so they're not mine. They might be mine. They're not mine. What's the feed speed? No, I'm only joking. So how long does it take to make a spear gun?
Yeah, that's if you're doing it by hand, I mean, you could probably make a simple one in a few hours, I would have said.
Oh,
But if
wow.
you want to kind of really shape something and give it a bit of an interesting kind of hydrodynamic form or something, it's going to take you probably a couple of days at least. Then if you're doing it on a CNC machine, it can change that, of course. In terms of actual how long it takes, I'm not sure I want to say. But yeah, I guess yeah, it's in the hours, that's for sure, for making like all the actual kind of stocks, if you like, timber stocks. But yeah, all the other parts then start racking up. And yeah, a lot of time goes into all the other components as well. So yeah, if you're using someone else's components, off the shelf stuff, it can be up to a few days, I guess. I mean, you can spend as long as you want. But
And again,
yeah.
sort of like going back onto what Ben said earlier on in the question, I think he had, where he was sort of saying, well, you know, a lot of other spear fishing gun manufacturers sort of take parts from other people, and that's because actually the skill sort of required to make the trigger mech may not necessarily transfer into somebody that's really good with carbon fiber, or somebody that's really good with making the wood. So, you know, where they can just say, well, actually, we'll just buy 500 sets of trigger mechs from whoever. And also the tooling that they would have to be able to mass produce those means that they can mass produce them way quicker and a lot cheaper.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's not necessarily a good thing, hence the reason why I think, yeah, your product, you're doing everything from start to finish. I think it's going to be fantastic. And if it breaks and I miss a fish, I know who to fucking blame. So
yeah, you know who to go to. But yeah, if you're sneaky and you're clever with how you tool and how you design all your equipment, you can keep the cost to a kind of reasonable limit, I suppose. And yeah, it can just about make economical sense. But yeah, if you want to go the mass manufacturing route, I think it does. You have to build up to it, or at least that's what I'll do, I think.
Money's in the tooling.
And whatnot. Yeah, exactly. Tooling costs. CNC machine. There we go.
We'll be stopping by next weekend to carve up our bags.
And then final question is, when are you launching the spear guns and website?
So the website is live, but it's not going to be actual sort of live products for sale as of the moment. So I'm hoping it's going to be. It will depend slightly on a few factors, but I'm thinking it'll be probably beginning of March. I would have thought something around that, beginning of March.
Right. How do people get there? What's the URL?
It is monkspearfishing.co.uk.
Awesome.
So yeah, there's a link on my Instagram to the website as well. At the moment, it's sort of got some bits of information and pictures and whatnot.
What's the URL for your what's your tag on Instagram?
It is Monk Spearfishing. That's all it is. And yeah,
Cool.
type that in. Hopefully it'll come up.
Cool.
Yeah,
And then,
awesome.
and final question, and this one's from me. The pricing for the different ranges, obviously, to start at wood. I don't want to, take away from the launch, but what's the rough cost of, say, you said earlier on, an 85 wooden? What's the cost of one of those?
I think at the moment, all I can say is it's not going to be too dissimilar to other timber guns on the market.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
about
I'd
30
like
quid.
to. So yeah, about 30 quid. Yeah,
Yeah,
a
awesome.
2x2 pine. That's it. Yeah.
No, it's just I was looking at Dave's gun that he snapped the other day, and it definitely looks like he just made it out of a broom. So
Oh really? Oh shit! Bloody hell.
No, he's had a wooden pipe gun. The old comedy sketch where it's the same broom, but it's had 4 new handles and 5 new heads, kind of thing.
Christ. He
So
likes that bit of 2x4. Nice.
Yeah, well, it's what works. Again, it's what you're used to, and it's what works. But no,
absolutely.
I'm very much looking forward to it.
Cool. Absolutely.
Yeah,
looking forward to launching.
Nick.
Cheers, Nick. Thank you ever so
Cheers
much
for coming on, mate. We're looking forward
Cool.
to it, buddy.
Cheers, guys. Thanks.
We'll look forward to
Awesome,
seeing
mate.
you in March during the launch, and yeah. So if you're launching in March, we should be getting our guns in February.
That's it. Yep. Next year, 2024. Yeah. No joking. Oh yeah. we'll have to arrange when I send you guys some guns to test. Yeah.
That'd be great.
That'd be
Thanks for coming on, Nick. Really appreciate it. And yeah, we'll be talking lots about CNC in the future.
I'm sure we will. Sweet. Cheers, dude.
Cheers, Nick.
Awesome, mate.
Bye.
Yeah, that was an epic episode, wasn't it?
Yeah, lovely guy. Really nice.
Really nice guy. Yeah,
and
Nick's awesome,
the
man.
stuff he's making, incredible.
Well, Anthony thought so.
Well, I mean, really, it's just a shame that you two are here because and that spearfishing.
I nearly
is
said,
a thing.
"Do you two want to get a room?" At one point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Several times actually.
If at any point he decides to split up with his missus, I will with mine.
No, I think that's the most excited and animated I've seen you since I met you.
Yeah,
I agree.
Spearfishing is like my second favorite hobby. Anything to do with metalwork and CNC is like oh. But no, I'm gonna email his granddad and see if he'll adopt me. But yeah, no, that was really good. I mean, I'm as you can probably tell, I'm really, really excited for his guns and to try them out. The same as you two, I've not shot a wooden gun yet.
Yeah.
And also I've seen the similar design of wooden gun in carbon that are silly money. But I'd love to be able to make a carbon gun. But is wood just fascinating.
There's something about it though. Yeah, I was just going to say there's something about it, and also I was looking at his posts that he put up of the pictures of the guns, and they do look like really well made, don't they?
Mm.
You can just tell when someone's put a lot of time into something, and they really do look good.
Well, in one of the photos, I don't know what he'd done. I don't know whether they're his spears, because at the end, after we were recording, we were talking about he's some more CNC crap. But like even down to the point on the back of his spears, he's welded a small ball on each of the parts for the dyneema. So it stops the fraying of the dyneema, but it also would stop it catching and lets the dyneema flow over the top of the spear more. It's just little things like that you can only get with being brought up with that kind of knowledge. That guy's a real engineer.
Yeah. I've not seen many people make their own trigger mechs as well. I mean, that takes some proper skill.
Yeah,
very impressive.
100%.
And a well-made trigger mech supposedly lasts a lifetime, right? So I mean, if you're buying a gun like that, one would presume that it's going to last a lifetime as long as you take care of it.
The only controversial subject we didn't cover with him was safety or no safety, because that's quite a controversial thing in spearfishing.
Yeah,
I think I can see a safety on the Instagram, but we'll have to get him on again anyway.
I prefer not having a safety, but that's a whole different topic.
Mm.
That's a whole different conversation, and we've got 4 minutes left.
I've got too many kids now not to be thinking about safety all the time. So, yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. That was a condom joke. I'm sorry. Just fell completely on deaf ears. Never mind.
Sorry, tell us again, mate.
Oh, don't worry.
I was just thinking about how scared me and Ben are around you, and you're the one talking about safety.
I always have my safety on. I do.
I thought Ben was going to make
never
a
unload
joke
your gun, though.
No, but I don't need to if I drop it to the seafloor.
Oh, God.
Oh, no. Mate, this is about time. Yeah, this is about time.
I was going to say, I think there's a couple of times we've been, lobster hole hunting, and you found something, and I'm like, yeah, I'll come give you a hand, and I drop my loaded gun with the safety on.
Yeah.
Next to the rock.
Oh, fucking hell.
You're like, Ant, can you unload your spear gun, please? Sorry,
any
Ben.
newbies out there, do not follow any advice Anthony gives you. That's not the right way to do it.
No.
Anyway, lads, listen, first one of 2023, and it was actually really good. I really love that one. That was awesome. Yeah.
And as a bit of a vote for the listeners, so that we can see how far into the podcast you guys listen, we've been talking amongst ourselves about whether we should re-record the beginning of the intro. We're now in 2023. We're thinking about calling this now season 2, but we're having a bit of a lovers tiff as to whether we change the intro or not. Ben says, nah, CBA, mate. Rich is like, he wants to make some jingle jangle Well,
let's tell the story. So Richard said let's get a new intro to the podcast, which fine, let's give that a shot. I don't hate the existing one. I'm quite happy to record it together because I don't like the sound of my own voice so much every time I start listening to the podcast. But anyway, and I'm sure we can tweak it. But Richard, instead of writing it, he just went to this chat GPT bot thing that everybody's talking about, said, write me a podcast intro. And I don't know if we're going to run out of time, but Richard, do you want to read it to the listeners? Because I think it's quite funny.
Wasn't it something along the lines of, welcome to the Spiro Hangout where let me
tell you
let Richard do it properly, as it would be, you know.
Right, let me tell you the adapted version that I did get from ChatGPT, but I changed it. Right.
No, you didn't.
Welcome. Yeah, I did. Welcome to the Spiro Hangout, where we dive deep into the world of spearfishing, foraging, and freediving. Join us as we explore the depths of the ocean, learn to hunt and forage like our ancestors did, and interview some epic guests. We'll bring the beer, so grab your wetsuit and your sense of humor, because things are about to get wet, wild, and maybe even a little bit fishy on the Spiro Hangout.
I think I'm going to be sick. Dear.
Listen.
Also,
as a computer, that's pretty good.
Listen, if you two actually did some work, I would have more time.
There we go.
There we go. Right.
I haven't got enough time to be working for you peasants.
We've got 1 minute left. If anybody wants us to record a new intro and thinks that they want to hear Anthony's voice in it, and
no. I'm overruling as the chairman of the BSA. I'm overruling this right now. The competition is listeners. Write us an intro. Yeah, send it in.
Best intro, and we'll use it.
Best intro, and we will use it all year. And you can choose who voices which parts of it. So yeah, send us it in. Send it via Instagram.
I think we might need some small print there, lads. What if we only get one and it's shit?
We're running out of time. We're running out of time.
Small
we
print
said it now. What are you going to do?
Yeah, terms and conditions do apply. Please see them on the website that doesn't currently exist. Yeah. Send them in. We'll have a look through it.
Cheers, lads. See you on the next one.
See you. Cheers. Bye.